Hey, so I'm getting a little head start on our next chapter of the Mysterious Benedict Society. Hi, Meatball. Meatball's very excited. He's very excited. Aren't you excited? No, he just wants my coffee. Yeah, no, I'm not going to have any. Okay, so this is called The Trouble with Children, or Why They Are Necessary. So we have new characters in our book. We learned about Milligan, and Milligan is always very sad. But we have Kate, Rainey, and Sticky are the three kids we have. So let's learn about these guys. So their supper was served in a cozy dining room with crowded bookshelves on every wall and a window overlooking the courtyard. Red birds twittered in their elm tree outside the open window. A gentle breeze drifted into the room, and in general the children were in much better spirits, having passed the tests and at last having gotten some food in their bellies. Rhonda Kazembe had already brought them bowls of tomato soup and grilled cheese sandwiches, which they had eagerly devoured. Now she set out a great platter of fruit, and as the children reached happily for bananas and grapes and pears, she sat down and joined them. "It's all part of the test, you know, being hungry and irritable. It's important to see how you behave when other children are getting donuts and you're getting nothing, and how well your mind works despite being tired and thirsty. Y'all did brilliantly. I must say, just brilliantly." Sticky, who still felt sensitive about his performance in the maze, said, "I wouldn't say I did brilliantly. I didn't figure out the solution or find a shortcut. I just stumbled around like a twit." "You mustn't belittle yourself," Rhonda said. "I dare say few people could have done what you did the second time through, retracing your steps so exactly. You made over 100 turns." "I doubt I could have done it," Rainey remarked. "I know I couldn't have," said Kate through a mouthful of grapes. Sticky ducked his head. "Besides, you aren't the only child ever to have trouble with the maze," said Rhonda. "When I first went through it, I got terribly lost." "You got lost in the maze?" Sticky said. The other's ears perked up. "Oh, yes. Several years ago when I took these same tests. I thought I was very clever because I knew right away that I was in a maze of identical rooms. I've often been able to sense such things. Well, I thought to myself, if every room has 3 exits and I always take the exit to the right, then I'll make my way around the house to the back in no time. Of course, Mr. Benedict had thought of that." "Who's Mr. Benedict?" Rainey asked. "Mr. Benedict is the reason we're all here. You'll meet him after supper." "What happened to you in the maze?" Kate asked. "Well, now, if you do what I did," Rhonda went on, "after about 6 rooms you come upon a dead end and your clever little plan flies out the window. I was so frustrated I didn't bother trying to solve the panels. Instead, I just tried to follow the green arrows for a while. Green so often means go. And when that didn't work, I tried the red ones. And when the solution finally occurred to me, more than an hour had gone by." "But you still passed?" Sticky asked, heartened to learn of someone else having difficulty with the maze. "Of course she passed," said the pencil woman, entering the dining room. "Rhonda was the most gifted child ever to take the tests. She did so well on everything else she would have passed no matter what in the maze." "Don't be silly," Rhonda said. "If you aren't the most gifted person ever to have taken Mr. Benedict's test, I'm the Queen of England." At this, the pencil woman's cheeks turned as red as her hair. As he had already admitted, Sticky often got mixed up when he was excited, and in this frenzy of mysteries and revelations he could hardly think straight. "What's that you said about being the Queen of England?" he asked Rhonda. "Was it a riddle?" Rhonda laughed. "That was only a joke, Sticky. I'm hardly a queen, you know. I'm not from England. I was born in a country called Zambia and brought here to Stonetown when I was a child." "Zambia? So, did you speak Bembi then, or one of the other Bantu languages?" "Why, Bembi," Rhonda answered, taken aback. "And how on earth did you know that? Do you speak it?" Oh, no, I'm sure I couldn't. I can read most languages, but I have trouble speaking anything but English. Can't get my tongue to do what it's supposed to. Hey, Bob. Are you awake? Rhonda smiled. I can hardly speak it myself these days. It's been so long. She gave him a significant look. I rarely meet anyone who knows what the languages of Zambia are, much less who can read them. Sticky knows a good number of things, said Rainey. I wish he knew when we're supposed to meet this Mr. Benedict, Kate said. It's been an awfully long day, and I'd like to learn what this is all about. As for that, said the pencil woman, the reason I came in to tell you that Mr. Benedict is ready to see you. He's waiting in his study. What about the other one? Asked Rhonda Kazembe. Apparently there's been some delay. Mr. Benedict said he will meet with these children now, and she can join them when she arrives. The children wanted to know who this other girl was, but there was no time for questions, for Rhonda and the pencil woman ushered them out of the room and down a long hallway into the study of Mr. Benedict. He's sleeping. Like every other room in the old house, Mr. Benedict's study was crammed with books. Books on shelves that rose to the high ceiling, books in stacks on the floor, books holding up a potted violet in desperate need of water. On 4 chairs arranged before an oak desk rested still more books, which Rhonda and the pencil woman removed so the children could sit. And on the desk itself, piled in precarious leaning towers, were even more. The children took their seats and looked about the study. Except for the books, the furniture, and the violet, it appeared to be empty. I thought you said he was waiting for us, Kate said. And indeed I have been, said a voice. And out from behind the desk where he had been sitting, hidden by the piles of books, appeared a bespectacled, green-eyed man in a green plaid suit. His thick white hair was shaggy and mussed. His nose was rather large and lumpy, like a vegetable, and although it was clear he had recently shaved, he appeared to have done so without benefit of a mirror, for here and there upon his neck and chin were nicks from a razor and occasional white whiskers that he had missed altogether. This was Mr. Benedict. With a friendly smile, Mr. Benedict stepped around to introduce himself to the children, shaking hands and calling each by name. As he did so, Rhonda Kazembe and the pencil woman followed him, standing on either side. Hi, buddy. As he moved from child to child. When he stepped back to lean against his desk, the 2 women again followed him and stood closely on either side, watching him with alert expressions, as if worried what he might do. It was very curious, and more than a little unsettling. First, children, I wish to congratulate you, said Mr. Benedict. You have all done exceedingly well today. There is much to explain, of course, but I'm afraid the explanation must wait a bit longer until we are joined by another. He took out a pocket watch, checked the time, and sighed. To the pencil woman he said, Number 2, any word from Milligan about our missing young friend? Not yet, said the pencil woman, but he said it should be soon. Would you please go meet them? I want to be sure she's had a bite to eat. The pencil woman gave him a doubtful look. I'll be fine, he reassured her. Rhonda is right here. With an uncertain nod, the pencil woman took her leave. Did you just call her number 2? asked Kate. She prefers we use her code name, explained Rhonda. She's shy about her real name. My computer's thinking.